Okay, hello to everyone that has joined me for yet another client interview. Today, I'm joined by both Gary and Nick, a pair of silent sharks, and silent sharks has become the metaphor, for the occasion. If you tune into my client interviews, because they are yet another, uh, you know, client. I say client, but obviously there's two of them who are business partners who joined the program, go silent mode on me and just pop out the blue with a massive win. So I'm going to hand it over to them to introduce themselves and give you a bit more context. So, Gary, Nick, obviously we just spoke before this, and obviously we've connected in school group and whatnot. Why don't you introduce yourselves to the audience in terms of who you are, who you serve, and the transformation that your business delivers?
Absolutely. So, Nick, I'll go first. So, my name is Gary Frater. I'm one of the founders of Frater Media. I'm one half of Frater Media, and I'm a celebrity social media manager. In the past, I managed social media for Mike Tyson and many, many other celebrities. And you know, we run Frater Media is a social media agency that specializes in entrepreneurship, high-level CEOs, executives, high earners, and we take the management, social media management, completely off of people's plates because it can be a lot.
Yeah, and then my name is Nick. I'm the other half. I'm the COO of Freighter Media. Gary already touched a lot on the points, but what I would add is, yeah, we basically take brands to the next level, whether that be athletes, entrepreneurs, podcasts, kind of. So the business owners or whoever's running the show could focus on higher level stuff. We make sure that they're growing on autopilot.
Yeah, there we go. And just to paint a picture for the people watching, guys, um, where were you at in terms of revenue before you joined the program compared to where things are right now? And obviously, we can get deeper into it as the interview goes along.
Mhm. Yeah, so before we joined the program or when we joined, we had one client and we were at 5K a month. So we kind of spend most of our budget on this EasyGrow course, but we knew that it would be worth it, that it would get us more clients in the future.
Yeah, and just to confirm where you are right now, I think you've been with us 4 months and you scaled to 22 and a half, right, Gary?
Yeah, yeah, 22 and a half.
Perfect. Now, just to touch on that, when you guys first joined, right, what was the key motivator to join the programs? What sort of problems were you guys facing?
So for me, I didn't know where exactly I wanted to take things. Like I had kind of two directions where I was like, maybe even just do a YouTube channel on male self-improvement, or maybe we just double down and create an agency. And then Nick and I talked and we said, hey, let's just double down and create a social media agency. And so we chatted and we basically said, let's invest. And I felt like I just called Nick up one day. I was like, hey, I think I'm going to do this. And he's like, really? And I was like, yep. And just put down my credit card and then we made it happen. And I think I needed clarity. And I think I saw just so many, ads pop up. That's really what got me. And I was like, let's just try it. Like you only live once. Let's try it. Let's see what happens.
Yeah, sweet. And when you guys first joined, like obviously you already were doing 5K per month. Was there any specific things that you needed clarity on in order to sort of just scale things up? Because you already got to a relatively decent point without any sort of programs, from my understanding. Or was it just
Yeah,
a mixture of things?
I'll be honest, 5K between the two of us isn't a lot of money.
Yeah.
It's not at all. And so I kind of still looked at it as we were just broke. But we were broke, but we had a large chunk in savings, and we basically moved to the Middle East. And we basically just said, hey, you know what? Let's regroup our life. Let's try new things. Nick was still working a full-time job, and we were like, let's get clarity. Let's try to learn from somebody that has obviously done it before, and maybe there's things that we don't know. So I think it was more like, I'll speak for myself. It was what I don't like. What is it that I don't know? I've built a successful career already, but
Yeah.
now I was plunging into the entrepreneurship world, and I was starting from zero. And to me, 5K is still zero. It's one
Mhm.
client, but it's still zero in my eyes. And so I was like, how do we really just scale this thing up?
Yeah. And Nick, from your perspective, like, was there any sort of key reasons outside of Gary's, for example, that really wanted you to make the push it? Or was it sort of Gary, everything Gary said?
Mhm. Yeah, I mean, a lot of it is what Gary said, like don't know what you don't know, but we also knew that we were sitting on a gold mine of Gary's experience, and he's worked with the who's who of athletes and celebrities, but we just didn't know how to really tap into that in terms of sales, marketing correctly. So that was something that the course helped us with, or we hoped it would, and it did.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Amazing.
and it gave us some clarity too. Like for example, like with our company, like I take on the creative and Nick takes on all the business side, and leveraging and the operations. And so I think the course also gave us clarity on um, delegating that because when you think that you can do it all, it's tricky.
Yeah.
But we're both two halves of it. I can't function without him. He can't function without me. So that's kind of also the course gave me that type of clarity.
Yeah, amazing stuff. And, digging a bit deeper into the clarity side of things, it'd be good to understand how the business was structured in each major component prior to you gents joining. So let's just start off with acquisition to begin with. So I guess, Nick, on your end, I know you sort of handle the back end side of things and just the systems and whatnot. What did your client acquisition system look like prior to joining? Did you have anything predictable in place, or was it just sort of, trying out a bunch of different things?
Hmm. I don't even think we really had a acquisition system in place. I mean, the clients that we got was all through Gary's network, through word of mouth, connections. That was, I mean, it still is, I guess, the biggest way we do get clients. But now at least we have some sort of outreach system in place, whereas before we didn't.
Yeah, perfect. And Gary, so it was just your network, yeah?
Yeah, but one thing I think the two biggest things that the course actually helped me with is realize it was a psychological thing. It made me realize that like cold outreach isn't such a bad idea.
Yeah.
Because to me, like I always felt like embarrassed to do cold outreach. Like I was like, why do I need to do that? Like that's like I don't want to pest any like be a pest. But I think the way that the course kind of explained it and in the way the tactics were, I think it kind of made it seem like, oh, okay, like you're just you know, you're basically just a solution. Like you're just a bridge
Yep.
to the people's problems. And I think that that was the biggest thing. Those two things. One was, like I said, cold outreach, not like isn't such a bad thing. And
Hmm.
anybody from any sort of level, no matter how much money you make or what your status is, you need to do cold outreach. And two, it's really just the bridge to people's solutions. I think those things were like eye-opening experiences to me.
Yeah, love it. And staying on the topic of like acquisition, guys, what sort of system did you guys scale up to get to where you are right now? Because in the program, you've obviously got DM source free, Terminator looms, different
Yeah,
email messages, all that
yeah.
stuff. Which one did
Link,
you guys run with?
LinkedIn messaging. So LinkedIn voice messaging.
Sick. Was it DM source free specifically, or I think the Wellbe system? Do you remember?
I was DM sorcery because that was the LinkedIn voice messaging.
Yeah.
Yeah, but just kind of going off that, I've also branched that out into not just LinkedIn. Like I've started to do Telegram and WhatsApp
Nice.
voice messages. So following that same pattern, but using it for different platforms.
Yeah, we're definitely giving away all the secrets here. The voice messaging is like a complete game changer. Like
Yeah.
we, sending a cold email is one thing, but if you really just make it personal and just send a LinkedIn message that like is you personally, because you can't automate that. That's not something you can automate, and people feel as though that's like at least hey, at least this person took the time out to reach out. So I think that that was a game changer for us too. That's not something I did before.
Yeah, 100%. It's like the one beyond that is like a personalized video message where we
Right.
Mm,
actually had like some of our own in-house setters doing that. And it's just a massive difference where it's like on LinkedIn, it's like people just getting spammed with a copy and paste all of text. I'm sure you guys get it. When I log into my LinkedIn and I see that, I'm like, no, thank you. I'm not doing that. But whenever it's a voice note or like a video message, I know straight away, wow, this person took the time. I'm actually going to intrigue to see what's going on. So yeah, that's fantastic stuff. And Nick, you've sort of plugged us with a what do you call it? An unknown entity in the form of Telegram. We
mm.
did not think DM sorcery can be implemented on Telegram. So yeah, you've only recently started to get started that, or has it been in the works for a while?
Telegram. So LinkedIn has a lot of restrictions. I've already gotten kind of like my account uh, like blocked blocked a few times, whereas Telegram doesn't. But I will say this, like Gary and I both speak Russian, so Telegram is mostly good for like the Russian market, Russian speaking
Right.
clients. Not many like US or English speaking people use it.
Yeah. Right. And I just want to touch on that because obviously in the program, as you guys already know, with DM Sorcery, he covers how to implement DM Sorcery, I think, on like LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook, I think Twitter as well. Obviously, if you guys have gone through acquisitions Genesis, it also teaches you how to ultimately think for yourself and tweak the strategies and tailor it depending on your situation. So I'm assuming that's what you've done here, Nick, where it's like, right, Telegram isn't in the program, but you've
Mhm.
tested it now, you've got the framework, and it's pretty much, what you're doing to test out if it works.
Yeah, exactly, exactly. It's also like comparing it to cold email. No, I'd rather send like voice messages. For me, that's a lot more fun than just like spamming a bunch of cold emails.
Exactly. It just hits a lot different in comparison to like we spoke about, like a massive wall of text. Like nobody wants to see that anymore. So yeah, amazing stuff. With regards to the appointment setting side of things, guys, obviously you've got a sense of predictability now. How many appointments are you generating on average? Let's just say per week.
It's different. It's different because our clients are really high paying. Like we're
Yeah.
not, we don't take on like small businesses or anything like that. If we took on
Mhm.
small businesses, we can generate a lot more appointments.
Yeah.
Our clients are very like, yeah, this is a little bit different because our clients are very like high level. And so I don't know, a few a week, I would say. And
Yeah.
that's pretty good for us because if we land one deal, it's like a $15,000 deal.
There we go. That makes
And
sense.
like, yeah, it's a big deal.
Yeah.
Or one deal is a big deal, you know.
Yeah. Perfect.
And we're a lot more selective. Like we just turned down one person
Hmm.
to work with us. I literally just before this call sent an email to somebody, and I just said, "Hey, we're not a good fit for you." And
Yeah.
he wanted to, it was like a few thousand a month or something.
Yeah.
So we're being selective.
Yeah, perfect. And that's something I actually want to touch on as well, because like a common misconception that people have, um, and we often get on sales calls as well for clients where it's like, they have like a specific avatar. They don't need like hundreds of calls a week or something like that. From your guys' experience, the systems still work even if you want to operate at a lower scale, where like you just referred to, Gary, your clients are of a select market. You don't need like crazy amount of appointments to make it work. The systems can still work. It can still generate you a lower amount of appointments, but as you guys have experienced, a higher quality, right? That fit the criteria that you're going through.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, exactly, exactly. And to be honest, we'd rather not deal with kind of like annoying prospects that
yeah,
aren't happy with like the price or we expect the world but don't want to pay. So
yeah.
we'd rather have a more select like number of appointments.
A $15,000 client is way easier to deal with than a $500 client.
Yep, I've seen that quote. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah,
good.
there you go. Trust me, I've been there myself. So yeah, no, that's great stuff. That's great to hear. And in terms of the sales process, what did that look like prior to joining it? Was that something similar to acquisition where you're pretty much like winging it, Gary, on your calls and Nick as well, or you're just relying on your reputation, Nick, Gary, or did you have like a set process that you were following at the time?
Nick, you could probably answer this better. Honestly, when I came in, I didn't really understand sales at all. Like, I didn't really like. I was a personal trainer before, and I kind of had a basic understanding.
Hmm.
That's still something I can improve on. I'm not perfect, but I'm much more confident in the results that we can deliver and what we have delivered. I think that also came with experience of just actually taking on clients. So I think it's like a little bit of the systems, the scripts, stuff like that. I think that's important, but I think what's even also important for me personally is actually the experience of once you book two, three clients, actually getting that because there's no like there's you can't make up for experience. You know,
Hmm.
no theory and stuff like that. The theories are good, but in practice they need to
You
be
need to
practiced.
practice it. Yeah, that's it. And Nick, your perspective on that? Because I know you handle, the business side of things.
Hmm. Not sure I fully understood the question. Are you saying like the best kind of sales tactics we learned from the course?
Yeah, so like prior to the program, did you have like a sales process in place, or was it sort of like you were just winging it, just like with the acquisition side of things, compared to like what you have in place now after going through the program?
Hmm. Yeah, I mean, we were just kind of winging it. I did have like a tiny bit of sales experience
Yeah.
before, just doing like cold calls and stuff, but um, I definitely wasn't doing sales right before starting the course, but once I learned about like how important having a good product, like that's your most important thing. Once I learned about the importance of that, that the client cares about the result, not, whatever services you provide for them. Those kind of two key things really helped me in the sales process that we have now.
Nick is also a tough critic. I'll send him like my recordings afterwards after the call, and he'll just like roast it no matter how good it is. He's like, yeah, you could do better here, here. This was weak, and I'm like, well, that's the only way to improve. So
Yeah, yeah.
That's exactly what you want. You don't want a yes man, you want a no man.
yeah,
I want to tell you no, this ain't good, this ain't good. But no, that's great stuff. It'd be great to go back to day one of the program for you, gents. Like, talk to me about, how you approached everything. So it's day one, you're at 5K, but there's no clear cut systems in place, no way to generate clear cut appointments. The sales process is a bit funky. Like, it's a massive program. So how did you gents approach things from, start to, where you guys are now, from learning the stuff, setting things up, etc., etc.
I think that the program's success really it's really just about how dedicated you are. It's like anything. It's like anything. And so
Hmm.
we approached it right away with that. Like we were serious about it. We made an investment, and we were like, hey, we're just gonna go like this. And it's funny because my goal was to get to 20K. Actually, it's so funny. Like my goal was like when I was on the initial call, he was like, how, we were talking about it, and we were like, how, what's the ideal, right? What's the ideal? And I was like 10K. He's like, you can dream bigger than that. And I was like, okay, 20K. It was actually funny that we hit
Yeah.
that. But as far as the first day, we just took it seriously. Like
Yeah.
we took it seriously, and we dove right in. And
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nick would do his thing, I would do my thing, and then we would after everything, we would just sit there and discuss everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I feel like with a lot of these courses, there's kind of the stigma, or like, oh, is this a scam or is this not a scam? It's only a scam if you don't put in the work. I mean, like, it's not like you're paying for a course and there's no course there. Like you guys have the course, you guys have the proven tactics, and it's up to the people to actually implement that. But kind of going off, like what we did the first day, at least me, I was still working my 9 to 5, but I had the Charlie Morgan's mindset, like all his mindset modules playing in my ear, like for 4 or 5 hours a day while I was working. And then I'd come home and then immediately would do cold outreach, or on the weekends, I would keep watching the modules. So, yeah, definitely took it seriously from the day one.
Yeah, killer stuff. And yeah, you're 100% right, Nick, where there is that odd stigma. And I've said it to clients have that odd, successful clients like you guys have that stigma sometimes where it's like, I tell clients, hey, you should productize your service now, potentially transition to info because you can scale up a lot more. And they go to me, oh no, I don't want to be viewed as a scam. I'm like, what? What are you talking about? But the course space has such a bad sort of reputation due to other people not delivering on their promises, it naturally has a stigma where you can join a program and even if you, you don't do the work, the easiest thing to fall back on is like, oh, this is just another course. Like it didn't work
Yeah.
out for me. So yeah, great stuff. And one thing I want to ask, like, obviously I referred to you gents as like silent sharks, and that's because like I did not I think I answered like one of the Gary's questions about rethinking his guarantee. I'm actually looking at your school engagement now, Gary. Are
We
you
were pretty
rethinking?
active.
Say that again?
We were pretty active in
Oh,
at least
At one point.
at one point
yeah,
we were
yeah.
pretty active. Then we
Let
started to
me.
make money, and we were like kind of focused on.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. It's both Nick. Yeah, fair, fair. I was gonna say you asked no questions at all, but there were a few different questions. But I noticed that with some clients, I'm just used to sort of answering question after question after question, which is perfectly fine. But with you gents, it seemed like you just had like a handful of questions and that's it. I didn't hear from you again until Gary made that win post. So would love to hear like any problems you faced in terms of setting things up, and if you did face them, like how easy was it to resolve? Because with the program, it seemed like from my perspective, you got what you needed. Like you said, Gary, you took it serious with Nick. You discussed things, and it was almost like you just troubleshooted things yourself and just got things going.
Yeah, yeah. I like the only time I really asked questions is when I needed an answer. And I mean, if you scroll back, there was times when I asked you about my offer,
Yeah, yeah,
and I like that you guys were there, always there to help. And I joined a bunch of the calls, the client calls, and or
nice.
the weekly calls. And yeah, the first what would we say 2 months, Nick? We were on most client calls.
Yeah, yeah.
We were on a lot of them. Either I was on one or Nick was on one. We were always there. Like that was really helpful. And was it William, Nick?
Will
Yeah,
Selway,
yeah.
who
Yeah,
helped
yeah,
you
yeah.
with outbound? Nice.
Yeah, he was great. Yeah. So we got a lot of information, and then anything else that I needed, I just kind of would go look, research things myself.
Yeah.
Or once I got some sort of information, it was good. But anyway, to answer your question, was there anything tricky or difficult? No, I think the offer was the hardest. That's what I think. I think like, but that was in my own mind. That had nothing to do with the course. I think and you guys just helped me kind of like make it more concrete. Like I was sitting on a lot of experience, but I
Yeah.
also my mind was a little in shambles. Like I didn't know where to take my next career. Like I think this course played a really big part in where I was going after this. Like I just quit a six-figure job. I basically started from nothing again with in Nick in a one-bedroom apartment. We invested in this course and we basically just said, okay, like let's hope this works out. And if you're dedicated, it will. If you're not,
Yeah.
you treat it like it's just nothing, then it won't work out for you. But it was very, very helpful.
There we go. And Nick, on your end, I'm assuming like you have you left your role and this is your full-time gig now, or like are you still balancing the two things?
Yeah, so I quit my job about a month ago at this point.
Nice.
Finally we got to a point where the business started making more money than I was making at my job. So decided, if I want to keep growing the business, the more effort I can put in, the more time I can dedicate, the better.
Yeah, sweet. That's amazing stuff, man. Congrats.
Thanks.
So in terms of like the operation side of things, talk to me how about how that looks in terms of like team members, fulfillment, how many clients you have compared to like prior to joining. So prior to joining, I'm assuming it was just you two and you had the one client. And then compared to fast forward to today, is it just still you two and a bunch more clients, or how do the systems look?
Mhm. You want me to take that, Gary?
Mhm.
Yeah, so I guess, yeah, before it was just the two of us. We had one client, so we were just kind of, doing our thing with that client. But now, or one thing I learned about from the course was the importance of systems, having systems in place that you can then pass on to other team members and then kind of scale at that point. Right now, we have a bunch of editors. I can't even list like the number, maybe like five, some graphic
Six.
designers, six, yeah. And then we have like systems in place. Like for example, we have a tracker. We're like, okay, for all the posts that are going out, all the reels that are going out, we put them in this tracker. Everybody knows where to look. Everybody knows, what's done, what's not done. And from there, it just makes it a lot easier. And if we didn't have the course, at least me, I don't think I would have really understood the importance of all these tools and all these systems and the role they play in business.
Yeah, amazing. And from the program, I know you gents obviously went through a ton of different videos on the acquisition sales, all the mindset stuff as well. But there's also the school support and the coaching course. Was there anything specific that you really loved about the program that stood out amidst everything else? So I will start with you, Gary. Was there anything specific that stood out, or was it more so, you liked everything about it?
One stood out was definitely the coaching calls.
Nice.
That was the most important thing. I think like if there's anything that's worth it for somebody, like if they're looking at what to do, like the one-on-one basically that you get on coaching calls is worth it. Absolutely. And the fact that you guys are very quick to answer discussion questions. Like on the discussion board, like if I had a question, that would usually get answered within 24 hours.
Yep.
And so that was really important to me, like those
Yep.
two things. Because yeah, like if you like you could look at the course and stuff and it's important and the systems and all that, but then if you have additional questions or if you need personalized, like how does this actually work for me, right?
Yeah.
Then that's where you guys come in, and I think that was the most important thing. Yeah, yeah, I would say that.
Amazing. On the coaching call front, Gary, which specific calls did you join? I know you joined the outbound ones with Will. Did you and Nick take advantage of any others, or was it just the
Yeah,
out?
yeah, yeah. There was all there was the outbound, I think, the inbound. We did sale of one
Nice
sales
sales.
call, I
Yep.
think. Yeah, but it was more about just like how do we acquire, like what's our acquisition process? How do we
Yeah.
acquire clients? It was less about sales, I think, for me. Maybe Nick joined those ones, but for me, it was outbound, inbound, and just from the content side of like how to get more people
Yeah.
that way.
Amazing stuff. And then Nick, from your perspective, was there anything that you loved that is different to Gary, or would you just share the same thoughts there? It was specifically the coaching calls.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I mean, I think what really sets this course apart is the mindset modules. At
Nice.
least for me, I was like pretty blown away when I was listening to them. And some people like we talked to say, just skip those, like those don't really like matter. But I think really changing your mindset when it comes to sales and um, just the whole business process is huge. Because like other courses, I'm sure they have like calls as well and a discussion board and all that stuff, but I'm not sure if they have that mindset module, which really, well, at least for me, it was big.
Yeah, every client interview I've had, they referred to the mindset module,
Oh, nice.
regardless if they're just starting out or, maybe had some minimal foundations in place like you guys, or even, which surprised me even, the more established guys, they always refer to the mindset module because it's all about, right, stepping on to the next level, creating that new identity, all that good stuff. So that's amazing.
Damn, I thought
It's
it was gonna
nice.
be different with my answer.
It's nice to see guys that are more established actually joining in
Yep.
and doing that because that's cool. Because I think that's what makes them successful, right? It's
Mm.
it, like in theory, if you're starting from zero, it's like, oh, you have nothing to lose. But then if you have some experience, actually getting more experience and branching out and being like, hey, what else can I learn? I think that's really powerful.
Yeah, yeah, exactly that. And it's always good because even I, right, as someone that sees like some very established clients come in, whether it's business experience or age or whatnot, maybe even you, maybe I think I may have had the same thought about like you, Gary, where you made your intro post, you're working with Mike Tyson and so whatnot. My mind was ringing bells. I'm like, what the hell does Gary and Nick need? Why are they here? Like they don't need us. But again, like you alluded to, Gary, you just don't know what you don't know, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then that can make like a world of difference regardless of what stage you're at. So yeah, it's amazing stuff. And before we get a bit deeper into the mindset side of things, one thing I wanted to touch on, Gary, was what you said about the additional personalized help that you gents and all clients receive, right? Because like you said, Gary, like most programs, it would just be a program with videos, but sometimes the support doesn't match up to the quality of the videos. And what happens is it's like the content you're consuming, it's not tailored to you. And there's certain nuances in your business that you need help with. So, like with you, gents, it's a very specific market. You need high profile clients. Gary, you want to leverage your experience with working with celebrities and whatnot. And you just wouldn't be as successful with the video content alone without the additional support given, right?
Oh, yeah, yeah, 100%. I mean, we're like I said, we're not appealing to everybody, and I don't work with small businesses, and I don't work with low-paying clients. So that's why it's like this has to be more tailored. Like there has to be a level of
Yeah.
advancement here, and that's when Nick and I would make sure to attend your the calls with you guys,
Yeah.
and that's when I felt like we got like the answers to the questions that we really needed.
Yeah. Fantastic. That's amazing to hear. And coming back to the topic of mindset, I want to actually ask you, gents, this individually. And Nick, we'll start with you because I know you mentioned this was like your favorite part of the program. How
Mhm.
does version one of Nick compared to the version I'm speaking with right now? Prior to going through the mindset training, like were there any sort of limiting beliefs that you had, bad habits that you had, compared to the version that I'm speaking to right now? How did you have to evolve in order to achieve the success that you guys have achieved on your end?
That's a great question. I'm blanking on a lot right now, but I guess the biggest thing from the mindset modules was, Gary mentioned this before, that sales, it's not like you're pestering people. It's not like you're bothering people necessarily. It's you have a solution and you need to get it in front of them. Like if you come with the idea that like, hey, this person needs help and they may not know it yet, but I need to help them or at least make them aware of this. I think that's a very big um, mindset thing to have in sales, because then it's a lot easier to make cold calls or cold outreach when you don't feel like you're just trying to scam people or bother people.
Yeah, amazing. And Gary, yourself, I know that was one thing that you mentioned as well. Were there any other shifts that you had to make in order to achieve the success that you've had? Like, how does version one look compared to who I'm speaking to right now?
Right. I think part of the reason why I was successful in the course is because we started out extremely disciplined and we finished very disciplined, like just our lifestyle and just our dedication. But I do think that I matured a lot in terms of business. Like
Hmm.
when I quit a six-figure job,
Yeah.
I moved to Cyprus, basically in the middle of nowhere with Nick, and we
Yeah.
were working on this course and seeing what could happen out of it. And then my goal was to replicate that same paycheck that I previously had, but now running my own business. And so I was able to do that in 6 months, not even 5 months. So it's pretty cool. Like and now my brain is more like it's yesterday. So we run a bunch of podcasts now, and then we work with a bunch of podcasts. And when somebody was telling on the show, somebody was talking to us about just how to like take away all like we as humans just wrap our minds around so much just nonsense and like put our energy into nonsense things. And I feel like this course actually helped me to just avoid nonsense and like not be like not put my energy into things that I can't control, but actually just focus on what can I control, give just grow as a business person. I think that's what I needed, and that's where I put all my energy into. So like I try to ignore all the outside things and really, really just focus on what is it I control, what can I actually like, what difference can I make? And I think that that was the biggest difference in the past few months since
Yeah.
taking the course is really just doubling down on what's important. And for us right now, it's building a business and you know making money and providing for our loved ones.
Yeah, amazing stuff, man. And yeah, I love that because usually, and you guys have probably, seen this yourself once upon a time. And I know a lot of clients experience this. It's where people, and this is all of even myself at times, or I used to, not anymore, but you tend to focus so much on things that you just can't control. And then you fall into the trap of thinking, right, you can't make a change, you can't better things and whatnot, and you start feeling sorry for yourself and all these silly things. But then, like you just said there, Gary, as soon as you make that shift to, right, I can't control this stuff, I'm putting you to the side, let me fill up my desk with things that I can control. Next thing you know, you're moving forward, business is growing, you're bettering yourself. And that's all because you shifted your attention to what's actually in your control as opposed to complaining what's outside of your control.
Yeah, whatever you put your attention on grows ultimately, good or bad. And I think wherever you are in life right now, it's because of the decisions that you made in the past.
Yeah.
And so I think, yeah, I think it's important.
Yeah, there we go. One thing I want to ask, gents, and I always ask this to clients, very simple question. How does it feel to be in the position you are in right now? And I'd love for you to try and remember the sales school that you had, where one of the questions, the age-old sales questions is, how would life look like if you achieved X, Y, Z? Why do you want to achieve this and whatnot? Obviously, like you alluded to, Gary, you went beyond your goal or your initial goal that you set and you've achieved it. It'd be great to hear from both yourself and Nick on an individual level in terms of how does it feel after 4 months to be in the position where, you've built a successful business. It's still growing, of course, it's still early stages, but you're at that point now where you're both working for yourselves, making some decent cash, and you have a sense of predictability in your business.
Nick, you want to go first?
Yeah. Uh, feels feels great, but also feels like nothing's really changed. So I remember it was my goal to, be able to make a couple K a month, work for myself, and have the freedom to kind of do whatever I wanted in that sense. But there was also times where it really felt like we would never get to this moment when like every single day we were doing outreach and watching the courses and nothing, no client was biting, no prospects were biting. And I was like, well, what am I doing with my life? We just bought this crazy course. We're not seeing results, but I mean, if you stick through it and see the light at the end of the tunnel, it definitely feels good. And right now, all I could say is I'm happy and excited for where things are going.
Yeah, amazing. And Gary?
I don't think I'll ever, well, I definitely willingly will never go back to working for somebody. Like the fact that this, because I've been an employee my whole life, and I think
Yeah,
that this course, along obviously with my own hard work, but I think this course shifted a lot of my mindset of like, hey, that there's a lot of possibility out there. And as far as how this has changed, I think I've it's now become a 24/7 thing for me. By the way, my lifestyle for anybody watching this has not changed whatsoever. I
yeah,
don't want to change it, but I can't afford it, but I don't do it. So that's my recommendation to you. Once you start making a little bit of money,
yeah.
do not start going crazy, because that's how you end up going broke. But I've seen too many people do that. But yes, I'm, knock on wood, very, very comfortable. We're like, life is good. We have money coming in consistently. Nick is happy. Like, I wanted to make sure that he was able to quit his full time job, and that was kind of a goal of mine. And yeah, I'm very, very happy, because I think in the future, in the next coming months, I think that we're going to be able to, I don't know, to be able to, achieve even more things. And
Yeah.
I just remember being on that first initial sales call, and I don't know if I was desperate, but I was in a position where I felt like I had nothing really to lose, and I was just like, let's just throw this Hail Mary, let's see what happens. And yeah, it paid off, and I'm very, very happy with it. And I won't ever go back to working for somebody, because I know that, with hard work, with the stuff that I know now in my brain, like, I could be, I don't want to lose it all, but I could, and I could rebuild back up.
Yeah, amazing. Nick, just for context, I know Gary, you obviously worked with celebrities before you jumped into this. Nick, did you work in a similar field or was it completely different to Gary's?
No, so I was a software developer actually, but before this, so I was always more of like the business tech side.
Yeah.
I really had no experience in marketing, but I think I picked it up pretty quickly after kind of had to here.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
and
mean,
and also Nick manages basically like all the back end of the business. So not only did he pick up marketing, but I think he's being a little humble here. He didn't not only picked up marketing, but he also picked up just like business, and how to run that, and create systems and processes, and hire the right people, and fire people. Like, firing people is also a big thing that
yeah,
is also very important, because businesses fail not because of who they don't hire, but because of who they don't fire. And Nick learned that pretty quickly. So I think one of the things that we've both gotten is a lot more tougher skin. We work 24/7, but it's all worth it because we're doing it for ourselves.
yeah. Music to my ears, guys. I love that question because I'm so used to clients just telling me, "Oh, I haven't had time to reflect, no." Oh, I don't know how my life's changed. So it's funny because it's always a bit of a cheeky bait, Gary, because I know you mentioned oh yeah, I didn't buy a Lambo or my lifestyle's not crazy. I just want to see if a client has started to enjoy themselves, and there's nothing wrong with that. But it's great that you've been able to look back and see where things are now because Nick, for example, you came from a software engineering background and now you're like a co-founder of a six-figure agency. And then Gary, for yourself, right, you came from like you already had a six-figure like income in working in the market you work now, but you've been able to leave that, which is like very hard to do, to turn down because it's a lucrative position, but then you were able to build something for yourself and productize your expertise, which is amazing. So that's amazing stuff. And again, it's only been, you know 4 months since joining, and I'm excited to see where you just go to next. And that actually brings me to my next question. What's the next goal here? So obviously we've cracked the 22.5K per month mark. Where do you want to take this thing?
Nick, I'll let you answer.
hmm Yeah, so I'm gonna be honest. I mean, my goal isn't, some crazy Lamborghini, making millions and millions of dollars. But what I really want now is just to keep working with interesting clients, specifically in the MMA sphere. Um, and I think it'd be cool to branch out into like international clients, maybe like some different languages, some different countries. It's really about kind of I mean, since this is a 24/7 business, as Gary said, there's a lot of, skills that you learn while you're on the job. And I think if we have more interesting clients and global clients, I'll learn even more interesting skills.
Amazing. Gary, for you, same thoughts?
One of my goals is to make Nick feel like he needs a Lambo by me buying one. That's what I want. I want to buy a Lambo, and I want. No, I'm just, yeah, I do. But I also want to make sure that in due time, and I want to position our agency as the Louis Vuitton of social media agencies. Like
Yeah,
we're not, a Stop and Shop, or that's an American like supermarket here. Like we're not like some low level. Like I want to position it as like the premier social media agency that if you want to grow, that you come with us, and it's going to cost money, but
yeah,
we're going to make sure that you grow. And I think, and I want to keep building. I want to hire more. I want to hire people. Like I want to hire our first social media coordinator, and then start having them take on stuff. I basically want to get out of the day to day stuff. Right now, I'm working a lot on the day to day, and Nick knows this because he's also working a lot on the back end stuff, and we just got an accountant. So like there's a lot of stuff that we're kind of building out the groundwork for. But my goal is to get out of the day to day stuff and just make like three important decisions a day. Like kind of like Jeff Bezos was saying, it's like he's like, you shouldn't be making more than like a few important decisions a day. And that's where I want to get to. I want to scale, and it's going to come in due time. And there's a process, right? Because as soon as you start bringing people on, you start making less money. And then if there's a client that leaves and stuff like that, like I want our clients to be very, very happy, because that's what we go above and beyond. And then I want to make sure that we're continuing to grow and we're taking on the right type of clients, and
yeah,
not do like little work or like short-term projects or anything like that. Like we take on long-term clients that pay a good price, and that way everybody's happy. So that's
yeah.
that's my goal, and we'll get there.
Yeah, amazing stuff. So there we go. I'm gonna archive this one on a personal level as a part one, and then hopefully I can get you gents, let's just say in a year's time, in a part two. If of course you have the time for it. I know how busy you guys will probably be by then, so let's see. So yeah, amazing stuff. As we sort of wrap up the interview, guys, usually there's two groups of people that watch these interviews. The first of which is current clients, the second of which is potentially clients that are on the fence. Maybe they want to think about it. Maybe they have even yet to book a call. We'll start off with the current students. Um, Based off of your guys' experience, what would you say is your best piece of advice to them in order to succeed with the program? So, Gary, we'll start with you. What would you say to them based off of your experience here?
uh, Build a personal brand. So take what you learn in the course, and then also start putting out content every single day. Like take a video, grab your phone, and just start talking about your industry, your expertise. Build a personal brand, and nonstop, and make sure that you're disciplined. Like the course is like what you make of it. And if you're not disciplined, and you need to, honestly, I think that, okay, let me cut back to all of this. Let me go before all the personal brand stuff. I think it comes down to, I think that you'll only get to the level of your habits and who you are as a person.
Yeah, that's a
Like
great
if
way to
you
put it.
eat junk food and you don't take the course seriously and you hang out with crappy people, I think ultimately you are not going to grow, no matter what, because your habits aren't good. So I
Yeah,
think you need to start changing your life, and I think the course will help you do that, but you need to be disciplined as well. So
yeah,
start taking the course, and then also start making daily habits in your life. And I think that will compound. And then
yeah.
start building out your social media presence and start putting out
There you
content.
go. Yeah. It comes back to that sort of like age-old saying where I'm probably going to butcher the saying, but you can take a horse to the river, but you can't force it to open its mouth. And
Yes.
that the point there is like, hey man, I've gotten you some water here, but you've got to drink it, you know. We can't,
Mhm.
force feed you. So yeah, great stuff, Gary. And on the other side, with the people that have yet to be a client, maybe they've yet to book a call, maybe they did book a call, but they're just thinking of it, almost like you're speaking to yourself, Gary, and Nick before you joined the program, right? What would you say to those people that are on the fence and have yet to join?
Nick, I'll let you take this one first.
Hmm, hmm. I mean, at the end of the day, the best investment that you can make is in yourself. I mean, yeah, it is, a lot of money, but I would think what else are you gonna be spending that money on? And also the potential to make so much more money and really change your life through this course is beyond limits. So I would really look at this course as an investment in your future, and I would really take the opportunity if you have the chance.
Yeah, perfect. Anything to add to that, Gary?
Yeah, I think I manifested this whole thing because I'm a big believer in manifestation, and when I first started the course, prior to even prior even to having a call, I watched every single testimonial, every single client interview, and
Yeah.
I watched it till the end, watched every single one of them, and I basically said like if I take this course, that'll be me. There's no reason why
There we
that
go.
can't. There's no reason why that can't be me, and we did it.
Amazing. Great stuff, Gary. You got one more to watch after this now. Once this,
Exactly.
yeah, there we go. And Nick, on your end, anything to say to clients in terms of, from your perspective, the best advice to succeed, or is it similar to what Gary said, where it's like discipline, stay on the course, and all that good stuff?
Yeah, so definitely keep going. I mean, at least for me, when I was in the thick of things in the course, I thought there was no kind of end in sight in terms of getting clients, and nothing was working, and we were just living in crazy conditions, Gary and I. Don't need to get too into that, but yeah, I would just say keep going. Also be creative. Like I said, I took
Yep.
the tactics that you taught for LinkedIn, for other platforms, and use it for different platforms like Telegram and WhatsApp, like I mentioned. So take some things from the course, but see if you could add your own little twist to it, and find what works best for your business.
Yeah, golden, absolutely golden. Basically thinking for yourself, Nick, like just
Yeah.
be creative with it. So yeah, amazing stuff. Where can people find you, gents, in terms of like if they wanted to, follow your story a bit more? I know we spoke just before this. LinkedIn profile's all good, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah. Feel free to add me on GaryFrater.com or just go to my LinkedIn, Gary
Sweet.
Frater. And
Sweet.
then
Yeah, and then my LinkedIn is also Nick Frater. Should be pretty easy to find.
Perfect. There we go. Gonna have that in the description, guys. So be sure to check these guys out. But yeah, that's pretty much it for the client interview. Again, for those of you that are watching this, I hope you really enjoyed this one. Bear in mind that I'm gonna label it, like I said, as a part one. So keep an eye out for part two. Maybe in a years from now, maybe even less, depending on how fast these guys scale up. But yeah, hope you guys found this interview valuable. And yeah, if you are interested in learning more about the program, feel free to book a call with us. However, I will preface this by saying, and this is an outro that I've become accustomed to, Gary and Nick, and I'm sure you're going to agree with me on this when you hear it. If you are someone that is watching this interview and you basically want a get rich quick pill that you can, purchase a program and do nothing, and you get instantaneous success within a day of not having to work, this program is not for you. And both Gary and Nick, they can attest to that because they are the complete opposite of that. They joined the program, and like they said throughout, they just put their head down and worked, joined coaching calls, asked questions and whatnot. So if you do
anybody
want
that's made it, anybody that's made it to this part of the interview, I think it has got something. I think you weeded out
that,
those people early on.
that's the goal. It's like, yo, I know what Noah's gonna say at the end. I'm not staying there. But yeah, in case you're out there who does want what do you call it, a magic pill to get rich and whatnot, this program is not it, and it just won't be a fit for you. If you do find something that allows you to get rich quick, please pop me a message on Facebook or find me. I'll buy that as well. But yeah, if you are someone that, in all seriousness, wants to follow a proven framework, have the necessary support in place, and you're willing to work hard, to get your desired result, just like, Gary and Nick have done so, where they leverage the materials, they ask questions, and they, just continue to work hard. If you follow that same pattern, or you're willing to follow that same pattern, feel free to book a call with us, and find out if it's a good fit. And even prior to booking a call, feel free to do your due diligence and check out all the other client interviews that we've got. I think we've got over 80 now. I'm keeping count. This is probably the 83rd. So yeah, feel free to listen to more of my boring voice if you want further proof. But yeah, that's pretty much it for the client interview. I hope you gents, have a wonderful rest of your day. Obviously, we'll catch up after this one. But to everyone watching this, I hope you found this one valuable, and I'll catch you for the next one. Cheers, guys. Bye.